Hey everyone, my name is Anthony Jung and I'm the Executive Chef of Retail Dining here at the University of Massachusetts, and today I'm going to show you how to make a deep fried skate roll. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the ingredients we'll be utilizing in today's recipe. I've got a beautiful local skate wing there. I've got some kosher salt here. I've got my trusty pepper mill. And I've got an egg here. And I've got some clam mix. And I would like to thank our Wicked Fish in Massachusetts Marine Fisheries for the product that we've had in this series and their continued partnership with UMass Dining. So let's get to it. All right, so I put our beautiful skate wing onto our cutting board here, and you can see how it has a particular type of grain to it. And I've actually put on some gloves for this, and I'm just gonna turn around, and there's just a little bit of sinew on this side that I wanna make sure I get rid of. It has a very tough texture, as you can kind of see. Get rid of that membrane. All right, and let's just get this little piece here as well. And we're gonna get this piece here. Now, a lot of times in most, I guess, restaurants or clam shacks on the coast, that they'll do this with clams, and clams are great. But I just want to highlight this type of, I hate the term trash fish, but let's call it underutilized fish here, and hopefully we can make these items a little bit more popular because they are very, very sustainable, and they taste great as well. So, okay, we'll just get rid of that there. All right, so we've got our cleaned skate here, and what you can see is actually a lot of it can actually be pulled apart. And what I'm going to do is just take my knife, just kind of take those pieces. You can see how they just pull apart here. There's a thin membrane, and it's actually fairly easy to get through. Okay, and you see that we've got these nice little strips. Okay, and let's get some more going here. We just got this little piece off, and we'll just pull these strips apart. So you can see they're kind of like clam strips already. All right, and they have this really wonderful texture. It pairs really well with lemon as well. Okay, so then we've just got this part here, and we're just gonna give this just cut these guys into some strips here. All right, so then let's put our skate onto our plate here. All right, and if you've seen any of these other videos, you'll know that I'm a huge fan of seasoning the protein or fish in this case before dredging or breading. Okay, and that's just to make sure that we got some really, really great flavor actually on the protein itself. And then we'll season the dredge itself, so everything can have great flavor. All right, so I set up a dredging station here. I've got our seasoned skate right here. I've got a little bit of salt. I got my pepper mill here. I've got a beautiful local egg here, and in a fork. So I'm just going to season our clam fry here. All right, with just a little bit of salt and some pepper. Okay, so it's really important to season all your components just to make sure that they all have great flavor. All right, and I'm just gonna crack our egg here. All right, get that shell. All right, put this off to the side. And I'm a big fan of dredging on these little cookie sheets, sheet trays, because then you have enough area. A lot of times people will tell you to do it in a bowl, but I always feel like a bowl is very confining and encourages you to press down on the protein, and that's something I prefer not to do. I prefer to keep it light and a little bit more fresh, so to speak, so you get a better coating. So, okay, so let's get the skate into our clam fry here. All right, and you can see we're just gonna give it a nice little coat here. All right. All right, so then, and then we're gonna put it into the egg mixture and then back into the clam fry and then onto our plate. All right, so got that nice first coating. Let's get these guys over here into the egg. All right, one last piece here. Let's do this. Let's get this all dredged up into that egg. And one of the great things about this this particular clam fry just has a great yellow color. So when we fry this, it's going to have such a beautiful golden brown to it. Okay, so pretty much all set here. Back into our dredge. Okay, so you can see I'm using a pair of tongs for kind of the dirty work, so to speak, and then I'll use my hands in just a second so we get a really nice coating here. Okay. And sometimes there is no substitute for a pair of hands. Looking pretty good here. And let's just take it out of our clam fry, put it right on our plate. All right, then I'm going to show you the next step. All right, so for the next step, let's make our caper aioli, and I've got some of the ingredients here. We've got some kosher salt, again, my pepper mill there. We've got a really beautiful lemon there. We've got some mayonnaise here. We've got some beautiful caper berries, a little bit of Dijon. I've got some Italian parsley. You can also use the curly parsley for this. I just happen to prefer the Italian. It just has a much stronger flavor. And I got some small little pickles here. So let's get to the prep work. I'm just gonna put this down here. All right, and there isn't too much. All we have to do is chop up our pickles here. And I'm just gonna give them a slice. And then just a rough little chop here. And what these pickles are going to do is they're going to add a great, nice little brininess that pairs really well with the rich mayonnaise and lemon. All right. Just going to chop this just a little bit more here. Back in my small little container. Just gonna give this lemon just a little bit of a roll. Just gonna cut it right in half. So I get rid of the seed or two. All right, and then just gonna chop up our parsley. Get some of those stems out of here. Oops. And this is one of the times that you actually really do want a very fine chop. Mainly it's because it's going to a condiment, and you don't want all of that, I guess, grassy texture. So it's actually important to give this a good, nice, fine chop. All right, so let's make our aioli here. So I've got our mayonnaise right here. Just put that right into the bowl. Got our Dijon. Just put this off to the side. Our pickles, which we're not gonna need all of them. All right. Our caper berries. Our parsley, squeeze of lemon here. All right, a little bit of kosher salt. All right, and a crack of black pepper. Let's give this a mix here. All right, and there's our aioli. All right, so for the next step, we're gonna make some kettle chips here. So I've got a couple Yukon gold potatoes there, and I've got a mandolin, and we're just gonna give them a slice real quick, and then we're gonna rinse them off with some cold water, and let them soak, and then we'll pat them dry, and then I'll show you how to fry these guys. All right, and you just want to be careful right at the very end, because that's where most people will actually cut themselves, is at the end there. All right, so then let's get these guys out of here. All right, take it over to the sink real quick. Put some cold water right on it. All right, I'm gonna let these soak for about 10 minutes or so, and then I'm gonna change out the water. The next step, what I've done is I have a brioche hamburger bun. It's one of these top cut ones, which is very New England. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add a little bit of butter, and we're gonna lather that on, and we're just gonna toast that roll for just a second or two, so we get some really nice caramelization. So let's get that going. All right, so it looks like our bun is just about done. So let's take a look and see if it is. Oh, all right. So we got this really nice caramelization there. Just gonna put it into our plate there and just bring it over to the counter. All right, so for the next step, I brought over our potatoes that I have rinsed and dried. So you can see they're on some paper towel here. I've got my kettle going there. I've got it about medium heat right now. And I've got a wire rack and some paper towels. And what we're going to do is, after we fry them, we're going to lay them down on the paper towel because it's absorbent, so it's going to pull out the oil. And then, so it's not sitting in its own oil, I'm going to put them on a wire rack, and then we'll season them with a little bit of salt. So let's take a look at the temperature of the oil that I've got here. I got it at like 260, 70. And what I'm kind of looking for is about 300 degrees. Often 350 degrees is what most fryers are set at. However, since these are so thin and there's a tendency for them to scorch a little bit, I prefer frying them at 300 degrees. So let's get these guys right in that hot oil. And again, just another safety tip, make sure that the oil is never more than 2/3 of the way up, and that you're only putting just enough of your product in here so that it definitely doesn't overflow, because that can be a dangerous situation. This particular stove doesn't have an open flame, but this oil is very, very dangerous, especially with open flames. So here we go. So I'm just going to add our potatoes. And just hear that great little percolating sound of them. All right, so I'm going to do these in 2 batches, and then I'll show you the next step. All right, so our kettle chips are pretty much done. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab my spider here, just take them out of the oil. Okay, just going to put them on our paper towel here, grab the last couple. Okay, and I'm just going to move these around just a little bit. All right, and I've got my kosher salt here, and I'm just going to add just a little bit of salt while they're still kind of, well, there's a little bit of oil on them, and that will help stick to the potatoes here. All right, so we're all set with this, and then I'm going to show you the next step. All right, so what I've done here is I brought over dredged skate to our stove here, and I've actually turned up the heat a little bit here. Unlike the potatoes, the skate's going to have a large amount of volume, and it's going to lower the temperature of our oil fairly significantly. What I want to do is I prefer frying seafood a little bit lower than 350 degrees, and I've got it at 340. The thought process being is that we don't necessarily need to caramelize it really, really well. What we want to do is just have a light golden brown, and I think it does better when it's a little bit lower than 350 degrees. All right, so I'll probably do this in a couple batches, and again, we want to be very, very careful the amount that we're going to put into our pot here. And if it takes 3 batches or 4 batches, that's more than fine. Okay, we just want to make sure that the displacement doesn't come anywhere near the top of the pot. Okay, you can hear that it's just percolating away really, really nicely there. I'll probably just add a couple more. Oops, there we go. Okay, I'll probably stop right there just to make sure that we've got plenty of space. All right, so our skate strips are about done here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take them out with my spider. All right, I'm just going to blot them real quick on some paper towel. Let's grab that last little bit over here. Okay, and I'm going to just, again, season with just a little bit of salt here. Okay, and then I'm going to finish the rest of the skate here. All right, so let's finish our skate roll here. So I just got a plate here, and I've got our toasted brioche bun, and I'm just going to add just a little bit of our aioli to the bread. I find it's really, really important because the bread tends to be very, very dry. All right, so then we add just a little bit of that there. All right, I've got a Boston Bib lettuce that I'm going to put there. I've got a couple heirloom tomatoes, which I'll just add that one there, this one there. There we go. All right, and then let's add our beautiful fried skate. Let's just add that to our plate here. All right, and then let's add our, I put the chips in just a container. We'll add that right there, and let's just go with a little squeeze of lemon. Always a big fan of just a little bit of lemon at the end of dishes. All right, and let's just put a nice dollop of this aioli right in the center. All right, so there you have it, and let's take a look. All right, and again, I'd like to thank our partners, Our Wicked Fish in Massachusetts Marine Fisheries, and supplying all the seafood that we've had in these latest videos here. And hopefully you'll try this recipe at home. I know it might be intimidating working with skate, but it really is sustainable. It really is delicious, and hopefully you'll try this at home.